Miss Donghua begins by showing a Taoist, Ling Yao, fighting with a dragon in the forest. After defeating the dragon, he was wearing his fire eye mask that could see the aura of living beings. Meanwhile, at Mule City, a war grocery supplier, Ji Wei, was resting in a diner with his assistant, Chunya, who is good at archery. Out of boredom, he asked Chunya to go around Mule City. They saw many beggars on the streets because of the ongoing war. Not far from that place, some Qing warriors captured a beautiful girl and brutally murdered her father. Seeing the abomination, Ling Yao came to stop Qing. However, Ling Yao's attack couldn't hit Qing, and he could even turn himself into a giant. Ling Yao was overwhelmed by Qing's strength. Feeling helpless, Ling Yao used his fire eye mask and attacked Qing again with a granite stone that could make the demon suffer pain and was destroyed. On the other hand, Ji Wei and Chunya fought the soldiers who caught the girl. After immobilizing all Qing warriors, Ji Wei met Ling Yao because he had known Ling Yao since childhood as one of the Taoists with great power. He called Ling Yao an uncle because he was much older than him. Shortly after, they met a girl named Yan, who was the victim of Qing's crime. Yan said that she and his father came to Mule City to see her brother, who, unfortunately, was recruited to join the war. Hearing Yan's story, Ji Wei felt so sorry that he invited her to his hiding place. Holding Yan's hand, Ling Yao assured her she would be safe with them. Seeing Ling Yao holding her hand, Yan looked blushed. After burying Yan's father, Ji Wei invited them to his hiding place. On the way, Ling Yao told him that the warriors chasing Yan were from Qi or Demon Nation, while Qing was one of the Demon King's followers. Soon, they arrived at Ji Wei's place. On the other hand, the Demon King named Renzong was furious after knowing that someone had defeated Qing. One of Renzong's followers, DeLong, asked Renzong for permission to avenge Qing's death. However, Renzong's girlfriend, Qiang Gui, rejected the request because, according to her, DeLong should focus on leading a demon war troop. She instead asked Renzong's permission to take revenge for Qing's death. Renzong agreed with Qiang Gui and allowed her to handle the matter. DeLong, who did not accept the decision, decided to take revenge on Qing without Renzong's knowledge. On the following day, Ji Wei, Ling Yao, and Chunya were discussing the demon troop's strategy to attack Qingliang Fortress, where Ji Wei would deliver food supplies. Therefore, Ji Wei invited Ling Yao to go to Qingliang Fortress and remind Ji's troops to be alert to the demon force's attack. As night approached, Ling Yao suddenly felt he was being watched, so he alerted everyone there. To protect Yan, Ji Wei asked her to hide in the basement, while Ling Yao was watching the enemy's movements using his fire eye mask. The troop stalking Ji Wei's place was DeLong's to avenge Qing's death. After some reconnaissance, DeLong thought that all people in the house had fallen asleep, so he and his troops secretly entered the place. However, he was surprised when Ji Wei and his team suddenly appeared and attacked DeLong's troops with arrows. Seeing that his forces were losing, DeLong threw down a jug filled with the poison bees he controlled. The bees attacked Ji Wei's team and made Ji Wei's uncle a victim when he tried to protect Ji Wei from the bees' attack. Ling Yao attempted to lure the bees with a torch thrown at the remaining DeLong troops. Since his troops lost, DeLong fled into the forest. Ling Yao pursued him, and when Ling Yao arrived in the middle of the forest, he was immediately surrounded by other DeLong's troops. While Ling Yao was fighting, Ji Wei and his group came to his aid. They could defeat the demon army, and Ling Yao managed to hurt DeLong, who finally escaped in his true form. After the fight, Ling Yao and Ji Wei returned to their hiding places to get Yan out of the cellar. When the cellar door opened, it turned out that Yan had been kidnapped by DeLong, who had previously become a giant worm. Ling Yao immediately went to save Yan. Ji Wei, who learned that DeLong had been injured, decided to stay home because he was sure that Ling Yao could defeat DeLong. Sometime later, Ling Yao found Yan, who was held hostage by DeLong. Ling Yao approached her after seeing that there was nobody in the place. Suddenly, DeLong, disguised on the ground, devoured Ling Yao's body. However, it turned out that DeLong was deceived because what he swallowed was a doll by Ling Yao. Ling Yao was behind him and stabbed DeLong's body to death. Ling Yao finally could save Yan. Since the day was late, Ling Yao and Yan decided to rest in a cave while lighting a campfire. They had a chat while Ling Yao fantasized about making out with Yan. Soon Yan woke Ling Yao from his daydream. She saw that Ling Yao's hand was injured and immediately covered it with her handkerchief. In the morning, when they were about to leave the cave, they saw traces of DeLong running away, which made them aware that DeLong was still alive. Ling Yao and Yan then returned to Ji Wei's hiding place. Arriving there, Chunya teased them for spending the night together. Not long after, Yan and one of Ji Wei's bodyguards went to look for Yan's brother. Ji Wei, Ling Yao, and Chunya prepared to leave for Qingliang Fortress. In the place of the Demon King, DeLong, severely wounded, came to see Renzong. Renzong was furious because DeLong was doing things without permission. He called the guards to punish DeLong. Luckily, San Liang, the war general of the Devil's troops, persuaded Renzong not to punish DeLong. Renzong finally cancelled the sentence even though DeLong had to accept if he was demoted. Renzong then commanded San Liang to attack Qingliang Fortress, which was gathering food supplies for the war. Meanwhile, Ji Wei's entourage reached Qingliang's fort and was welcomed by General Peng Hai's younger brother. Ji Wei explained that he and his squad came to inform the general of important information. Soon after, Ji Wei and the team saw General Pang Chong. In the meeting, Ji Wei said that the Qi nation would attack the fort soon. Ling Yao added that he had conducted a reconnaissance of the Qi nation, so he knew the demon nation's war strategy. To convince Pang Chong, Ling Yao showed him the style he had. Pang Chong finally trusted all of Ji Wei's information. On another occasion, Ji Wei was practicing archery around the fort. One of the warfare officers, Zhang, came and taught the correct archery technique, considering Ji Wei was not good at archery. However, Ji Wei proved he could defeat the war officer's archery technique. Suddenly, Chunya came to see Ji Wei and told him that the Qi troops were preparing to attack. Ji Wei rushed to join the battle. At that moment, Zhang didn't like Ji Wei, who managed to defeat his archery technique. On the other hand, Delong and Sanliang confidently mobilized their troops because they knew Qingliang Fortress only had 500 soldiers who would be easily defeated, whereas Pang Chong had a strategy of using 100 horsemen to attack the Qi troops from behind and target Sanliang. After the Qi troops attacked, Pang Chong took his weapon and prepared to execute the strategy he had made. Meanwhile, Ling Yao distracted the enemy by sneaking into the rear guard of Qi's troops and attacking Sanliang secretly. However, Sanliang quickly immobilized Ling Yao, who became a puppet. He was surprised because he had been deceived without realizing that the troops led by Pang Chong had come and attacked all of his forces, whereas Ji Wei and Chunya went up to the hill to destroy the command flag and attack the enemy's war commander to easily mess up and defeat the enemy's troops. Sanliang and Delong attacked the powerful Pang Chong with the rest of the soldiers. In fact, Pang Chong was able to defeat dozens of soldiers alone and overwhelmed Sanliang and Delong. Ultimately, the Qi army was defeated after Pang Chong killed Delong, and Sanliang withdrew from the battle. However, the victory of the Qingliang fortress did not make Ling Yao happy. He did not feel much help in the fight because his master sealed Ling Yao's great power. In Qi, Sanliang came to see Renzong and reported that the demon troops had lost. Renzong was furious because an army could defeat a force of 2,000 men from the Qingliang fortress with 500 soldiers. Sanliang explained that Qingliang fortress troops always used an unpredictable strategy. Looking at Renzong, who was getting angry, Qiang Gui tried to calm him down. On the following day, Zhang was reading some war books in the courtyard. When Ji Wei and Chunya saw one of the books that fell, Ji Wei said to Zhang that the book's content was not following the reality of the war in the field because the author had never participated in the war. Zhang, who disagreed, defended himself, and they argued about the book. During the day, Ji Wei was in his room with Ling Yao, recounting his dark past. Suddenly, Chunya came informing that a girl with a man was asking to enter the castle. Ji Wei immediately followed Chunya, while Ling Yao seemed happy because he hoped Yan would come. Ji Wei saw the frightened Yan and his dead bodyguard at the fortress's entrance. He immediately helped them to get inside the fort. Yan then recounted that when she and the bodyguard were about to go looking for her brother, they were intercepted by robbers. The bodyguard tried to protect her, and he was dead. She decided to go to Qingliang Fortress. Hearing her story, Pang Chong was so sympathetic that he asked Yan to stay in the fortress. On the other hand, Ling Yao, who saw Yan and Pang Chong attracted to each other, was jealous. Allowed to live in the fort, Yan helped the soldiers by washing their clothes. Once, Ling Yao saw Yan hand Pang Chong the washed clothes, making him even more jealous. He finally invited Yan to take a walk to get her attention. However, Yan refused the invitation because she still had to wash the clothes. After Yan left, Chunya teased Ling Yao for being turned down. Ling Yao was annoyed to hear that. Ling Yao invited Yan to walk the following day, but Yan refused. He felt strange about her attitude and tried to find out using his fire eye mask. Not getting a clue, Ling Yao pretended to give back Yan's handkerchief. At that time, Ling Yao knew that Yan had been possessed because she did not realize that the given handkerchief was not hers. Yan came to Pang Chong's room as night fell to serve soup. Pang Chong ate the soup right away. Not long after, his head was dizzy and he fell unconscious. Just then, Yan took out a knife to kill him. Suddenly, Pang Chong regained consciousness, transformed into Ling Yao, and repelled her attack. Ling Yao learned a demon had possessed Yan. He took out the demon in her body with his talisman paper. Qiang Gui was thrown out of Yan's body and attempted to escape. However, Qiang Gui was trapped in the room because Ling Yao had stuck talismans on various sides of the room. She attacked Ling Yao, who finally took out peach needles to catch her. A while later, Pang Chong and the others came over. Sometime earlier, Ling Yao went to Pang Chong and explained his suspicions about Yan. At first, Pang Chong did not trust Ling Yao because he did not see the demon's aura on Yan. However, Ling Yao convinced him to return. Pang Chong finally followed Ling Yao's plan. Meanwhile, Qiang Gui had already been captured. She asked when Ling Yao knew of her plan, considering she had prepared everything thoroughly. Ling Yao explained that her mistake was to avoid him and accept the white handkerchief given by Ling Yao. The handkerchief that Yan had given Ling Yao to bandage the wound was pink, not white. Ling Yao then suggested to Pang Chong to imprison Qiang Gui. The following day, Zhang and his team observed the Qi nation from the top of the hill. Zhang was very confident that the Qi nation was now terrified after losing in the Qingliang fortress battle. Meanwhile, Ling Yao was with Yan enjoying the beauty of the hill. After completing the observation, Zhang immediately reported the current situation to Pang Chong. A knight came carrying a letter from Sen Liang challenging Pang Chong to fight in front of the Qingliang fortress. However, Pang Chong was not easily provoked by the letter of challenge and chose to attack Qi at the right time. Meanwhile, Sen Liang and his troops continued to provoke Pang Chong's army to fight with Sen Liang outside the fortress. However, Pang Chong was very calm in dealing with the situation. Until noon, Sen Liang and his troops were still in front of the fort and began to starve, so they were cooking food. Zhang, who noticed that, immediately told Pang Chong that it was the right time to attack the demon army because they were unaware. Pang Chong ordered Zhang to prepare an army immediately. On the other hand, Ji Wei ensured Qi nation was not short of food and medicine. Seeing Pang Chong and his army preparing to attack, Ji Wei immediately prevented it. He explained to Pang Chong that the Qi troops would use a war strategy this time, but Zhang kept convincing Pang Chong to attack them and asked Ji Wei not to interfere in the battle. Eventually, Pang Chong and his troops continued to attack, and they could easily defeat the exhausted Qi army. Some of the remaining Qi nation troops then attempted to flee. Pang Chong ordered his troops to pursue the enemy after seeing the flag of the Qi nation king. In prison, Qiang Gui struggled to escape because Ling Yao had put talismans in every corner of the prison. To deceive the guards, she pretended to faint. Soon after, a guard came to bring food for her. Seeing Qiang Gui's unconscious sexy body, the guard was tempted and opened the prison door. As the guard approached her, Qiang Gui woke up and attacked the guard until he was unconscious. Qiang Gui was then free and able to return to Qi. Pang Chong's troops that chased after Qi's army were entering a dark place. They even could not find a way out and circled in the same place. Suddenly, the tree roots began to entangle all the soldiers to death. When the root tangled Pang Chong's neck, he realized it was an illusion of magic. He survived and returned to the real world with both hands strangling his neck. Pang Chong tried to regain consciousness, but all of his troops had died strangling themselves. A while later, Renzong came, and Pang Chong attacked him with his weapon. Because his attack didn't hit Renzong, Pang Chong chased after him but instead entered a trap hole. After Pang Chong could get out of there, Renzong attacked using his massive rock power, and the stone struck Pang Chong. After fighting Pang Chong, Renzong was exhausted to the point of unconsciousness. At Qingliang Fortress, Zhang and Pang Hai needed clarification about setting up a war strategy, especially now that Pang Chong had not returned to the fort. In a chaotic situation, Ji Wei explained his plan to trap the enemy. Pang Hai approved of the idea, and Ling Yao would be tasked with deceiving the enemy by sending fake letters and making fake troops. The following day, Ling Yao flew a pigeon carrying a fake letter from Qingliang Fortress, asking for reinforcements from other cities. In addition, he created a false army in the river so that it appeared that reinforcements from other cities had come. On the other hand, the enemy forces captured the mail-carrying birds. Renzong was happy that Qiang Gui had returned to Qi's country. Soon, one of the soldiers came and gave a letter to Qingliang Fortress asking for the help of another city. Renzong immediately ordered his soldiers to send a scout into the river to see if the reinforcements requested by Qingliang Fortress were coming. While outside Qi's palace, the soldiers were stoning Pang Chong's body, which was hung after being defeated by Renzong. The news of Pang Chong soon reached Qingliang Fortress. Pang Hai was outraged and did not accept his brother being treated inhumanly. Zhang suggested he set up an army to attack Qi. However, Ji Wei tried to calm him down and remind Pang Hai not to be rash. Ling Yao agreed with Ji Wei's opinion. However, Zhang persisted with his plan to attack. Therefore, Pang Hai finally decided to commit an attack in retaliation for his brother's death. Hearing Pang Hai's decision, Ji Wei was speechless. The following day, Zhang sent his troops to lure Qi's army away from the base so that Zhang and the rest of the forces could easily carry Pang Chong's hanged body. Ji Wei realized that the enemy base was empty and had a bad feeling. He asked his troops to retreat. However, Zhang did not want the opportunity to bring Pang Chong's body home to pass. He remained strong enough for his troops to enter the enemy base. Zhang thought the enemy base was empty because all the soldiers were ambushing the fake army Ling Yao had created. When they successfully lowered Pang Chong's body, suddenly, the Qi troops came out and attacked, overwhelming Ji soldiers. At a desperate moment, Ling Yao blew up the walls of Qi's army base to allow Ji's troops to escape. But one of the Ji's officers had to sacrifice himself to intercept the Qi army going after them. After successfully escaping from the Qi army base, Ji Wei and the others were intercepted by Qiang Gui. Seeing that, Ling Yao told Ji Wei to immediately bring the rest of the soldiers to the fort while he faced Qiang Gui. On the way to the fortress, Ji Wei and the others still faced the Qi army chasing them. That's why he immediately made a plan to lure the Qi army to chase him into the valley. Meanwhile, Zhang and half of the troops were tasked with secretly going up the hill and attacking the Qi troops. Although a little unacceptable, Zhang finally agreed to Ji Wei's plan. Meanwhile, Ling Yao was still trying to face Qiang Gui. Suddenly, another Qi army came, so Ling Yao chose to leave immediately. Qiang Gui was upset and promised to kill Ling Yao one day. While Jiwei had now reached a valley, Renzong's troops surrounded Ji's army. After looking towards the hill, Zhang-led troops turned out not to show up, making Chunya worried that Zhang had escaped. Due to the urgency, Jiwei ordered his troops to fight. Elsewhere, Zhang's troops went away from the hill and let the troops led by Jiwei face the Qi troops alone. When one of the soldiers asked about the change of plans, Zhang revealed that Jiwei would be known as the nation's hero. He thought the most important thing was to bring Peng Chang's body back to the fort. Facing Renzong's army, Jiwei and his troops were overwhelmed. At the same time, Renzong was very interested in Jiwei and thought that Jiwei's body was very suitable to be used as a vessel for his next reincarnation. At the same time, Jiwei and Chunya, who had been cornered, pretended to give up and tried to attack back when Renzong was off guard. However, Renzong had already learned of Jiwei's plans and attacked Jiwei with a soul-locking technique. Jiwei was thrown and unconscious after the attack. Renzong, who wanted Jiwei's body, immediately ordered his soldiers to arrest him. Luckily, Ling Yao came and saved Jiwei and Chunya. At Qingliang Fortress, Peng Chang's body was being laid to rest. Shortly after, a warrior gave word that Ling Yao, Jiwei, and the others had returned to the fortress. Zhang, who heard the news, was shocked because he thought Renzong's army had defeated Jiwei. The warrior also told him that Jiwei was unconscious and Ling Yao was taking him to the room for resting. Peng Hai, worried about Jiwei's condition, immediately came to Jiwei's room with Zhang. He was very sorry that he did not listen to Jiwei's advice, which caused him to lose many soldiers. Peng Hai then asked Chunya about the incident to Jiwei. Chunya explained that Renzong attacked Jiwei for not getting help from the Zhang army. Shortly after, a healer came to check Jiwei's condition and said he could not treat Jiwei. Ling Yao explained to Peng Hai that Jiwei was attacked with a deadly soul-locking technique. If Jiwei's soul did not merge with his body immediately, Jiwei's soul would vanish. Ling Yao also said he knew a healer who could heal Jiwei and planned to meet the healer on the eastern mountain. Ling Yao immediately traveled to the healer's place. In the middle of the journey, Ling Yao heard a woman asking for help from a wild animal trap. After opening the trap and being about to treat her, the woman knocked him out. When he awoke, Ling Yao was already in a cave bound and would be cooked by the woman. She was a demon who was looking for a human to eat. After successfully freeing himself, Ling Yao recognized the demon named Shan'er, and he was looking for her. He then asked for Shan'er's help to treat someone attacked with a life-locking technique. She refused his request because Ling Yao once refused her love. Shortly after, Ling Yao recited a poem that Shan'er had sent him. After learning that Ling Yao remembered the verse, Shan'er changed her mind and was willing to help. The following day, Ling Yao brought Shan'er to see Jiwei. Shan'er said that the treatment should be done using an acupuncture needle. Chan Yu tried to stop it because he feared Shan'er would harm Jiwei. However, after Peng Hai calmed him down, Shan'er started her treatment. By sticking a few needles and reciting the spell, Shan'er could return Jiwei's soul. Learning that Shan'er had saved his life, Jiwei was very grateful to her. Meanwhile, Peng Hai apologized to Jiwei, who had never listened to his advice. Jiwei suggested Peng Hai leave Qingliang Fortress and go to Shu Mountain and join the main army of Ji Nation because they had lost a lot of troops. Peng Hai agreed to Jiwei's suggestion. After that, the last homage to Peng Chang was done. Everyone seemed saddened by the passing of their general. There, Shan'er was jealous seeing Ling Yao chatting with Yan. At night, Ling Yao, who had not fallen asleep, saw Shan'er, who was trying to harm Yan. Ling Yao immediately stopped her and immediately took her out of Yan's room. Outside, he warned Shan'er not to harm Yan. A few days later, the remaining Qingliang Fortress warriors were preparing for their departure to join the main forces of the Ji Nation in the north. Elsewhere, 2 soldiers from the Qi Nation were watching troop activity at Qingliang Fortress. Soon after, the watchers reported the matter to Renzong, who sent Qiang Gui to spread goose poison in the fort. Possessing the prisoners of the captive Ji warrior, Qiang Gui could enter the fortress and infuse goose poison into the spring there. Soon, the soldiers who drank the water from the fount were unconscious, including Ling Yao. Everyone who was exposed to goose poison was eventually treated. Shan'er, a healer, was also unable to treat the poison. After learning that Ling Yao was poisoned and unconscious, Yan came to see him. However, Shan'er, still jealous of Yan, kicked her out of the room. Jiwei tried to calm them down and asked Yan to come out and entrust everything to Shan'er. Suddenly, Peng Hai and Jiwei were also unconscious because they had been exposed to goose poison. Since his mission to poison the warriors in Qingliang Fortress had been successful, Qiang Gui returned to Qi and reported it to Renzong. Hearing the good news, Renzong praised Qiang Gui's performance. He then ordered San Liang to prepare an army because they were about to take over Qingliang Fortress in the middle of the night. In his room, San Liang was happy because, eventually, Qingliang Fortress would soon be taken over by his army. By midnight, Qi troops could get into Qiangliang Fortress very quickly. However, when Renzong entered the fortress, his magic energy disappeared. At the same time, Ji soldiers killed at the gate became puppets. Elsewhere, Ling Yao was trying to activate his power to seal Renzong's magic. The Ji troops on top of the fort secretly threw the poison ball, which caused the Qi army to be disrupted by the poison smoke. Ji Wei, who had previously been given a Ling Yao spell paper, aimed at Renzong with the firepower of Ling Yao's eyes. As the poison smoke spread, Ji Wei immediately shot Renzong. A few days earlier, angry with Ji Wei, Peng Hai had suddenly cancelled their escape plan to the north. Ji Wei explained that Ling Yao had already gained negative energy inside the fortress. From a device owned by Ling Yao, Peng Hai could see a soldier spreading poison at the fort's springs. After that, the three asked Shaner to help them carry out a plan. She refused to allow it, so Ling Yao had to persuade her. After Shaner agrees to cooperate, the soldiers pretend to be exposed to goose poison to deceive Qianggui. Then, everyone exposed to the poison got the antidote that Shaner had created. She could also extract goose poison to make a poisonous smoke bomb. Shortly after, Ling Yao installed 8 peach stakes that he would use to activate the 8 gate arrays that could withstand someone's magic power for 30 minutes. Therefore, the Ji army must be able to defeat the Qi army before the power of the array gate disappears. The next scene shows the poison of the bombs that Ji's soldiers threw that had spread and left Qi's army immobilized. Renzong and the others could not use their magic until they were exposed to the gu leaves. Seeing his men helpless, Renzong took out several snakes capable of absorbing goose poison from his men's bodies. After being freed from goose poison, Qinggui and Renzong fled through the west gate. At the same time, San Liang remained in the fortress to intercept the Ji army going after Renzong. Zhang and his army guard the west gate of the fortress. Meanwhile, Qianggui sacrificed herself to be captured and gave way to Renzong to get out of the fortress. Renzong promised that the sacrifice of all his men would not be in vain because he would take revenge. On the other hand, San Liang defeated many Ji warriors even though the magic power inside him was lost. A short time later, Ling Yao's activated array gate had been destroyed, so San Liang's magical power returned and attacked all the Ji warriors. Peng Hai and Ling Yao then fought against San Liang. However, with San Liang's mighty strength, they were both overwhelmed. When San Liang was about to attack the defenseless Ling Yao, Shaner came and immobilized San Liang with the acupuncture needle and poison she put into his body. At that moment, Ji Wei finally managed to kill San Liang. After the troops of Qingliang Fortress won the battle, Ling Yao and his companions said goodbye and left. Ling Yao reminded Peng Hai to stay alert because Renzong could rise with his new army anytime. Afterward, Ling Yao went with Shaner to help Ling Yao raise Ling Yao's power, sealed by his master. In contrast, Ji Wei and Chunya took Yan to see her uncle. Ji Wei planned to set up his army and join the main army of Ji's nation. On the other hand, a soldier told Zhang that one of the bodies of Qi troops had disappeared. When Zhang checked it out, he saw that Qianggui's body was gone. At the end of the Donghua, Ji Wei, Chunya, and Yan left Qingliang Fortress. However, Yan seemed to have been possessed by Qianggui. The moral of the Donghua is that we must solve a problem with a cool head to avoid the wrong decision.